Hello, West Side. My name is George Kazaklis. I am your West Side stage and lighting. Hello. I wish I could play guitar just like Austin, so I could just push buttons and, change things. I'm here to tell you about my summer. And it's a summer where God has been teaching me things and changing me. And it started back in April. So I was at work, and after lunch, talking about getting healthy. And you don't talk about healthy unless you have a heavy lunch, so you can imagine where this is headed. So I'm talking with my brother Mike, and he's like, George, you could totally get active. You just need to start running. And I'm like, great, because I hate running. In fact, I hate jogging. I was like, yeah, this is going nowhere. And he's like, seriously, go in your neighborhood, make your own path, run with music, then come home. I'm like, this sounds pretty simple. He's like, here's the don'ts. Don't go to gym, don't do track, don't do a treadmill, just run in your neighborhood. And I'm like, okay, day one, check it off. I ran this made-up route, and it was like really simple. It's weird, you see your neighbors, and they're like, who's this person running? Next day, I ran, and I doubled my route. I don't know what happened. I was listening to slow music. It must have felt like I was like, ooh, yeah, I'm faster than Coldplay. I don't know, I'm just running, which I do recommend listening to slower music because you actually feel like you're running faster. But I am running. I do this for 4 to 5 times a week for over a month, and it hits me. I need to drive this route. And I drove it, and I had been running like over 3 miles every time I ran, which is crazy because if you would have ever said, hey, George, a bunch of us are going out to run, I'd be like, first of all, no. 3 miles, no. We're going to do it as to get healthy. I'd be like, yeah, I got plans every single day, And I basically have this moment with the Lord. I'm at my desk at home. I have a studio, and I'm like trying to just process this, and I'm like, God, you know me more than anyone, and I'm a runner, I'm kind of afraid, confused, and I'm like, God, you know me more than anyone, but just in case you forgot, let me reintroduce myself to you. I am George Kazaklis. You know I love you. I love my wife. I love my son. I even love my job. This is kind of, you know me, right? I like to break things. I like to fix things. I like to take apart things. I like to learn about how things work. I'm extremely average, and I learn from above average people. I've always hated school, and I like to learn, like all these things. And now I'm a runner. And it's like this bomb exploded in my head, and it was in like a Greek accent. And it was like, George, you start things, but you never finish them. Please, Vre, my dad's from Greece, and my mom's from Bolivia. If God had my mom's voice, it probably would have sounded like, Oye, ¿por qué no terminas las cosas? Okay, come on. Oh my God. God would even say, oh my God, seriously. Let's go back to, God is telling me that I don't finish things. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you are totally right, because you know me. I have a stack of books. Basically, it's like my nightstand. It's just basically a stack of books that aren't finished. I have hard drives of music. I'm a programmer. Unfinished ideas, probably like 600 of them. And it's just my nature of just being creative, doodling, and being done with it. And then my wife has been wanting to be active for 15 years, so you can imagine the amount of unfinishing that has been happening. So, in the midst of this conversation with the Lord, there's a book on my desk about how to draw. It's called Drawing on the Right Side of Your Brain, and it's by Betty Edwards. It helps you understand the left side of your brain, which is facts, figures, numbers, logic. Right side of your brain, depth, color, imagination, intuition. I mean, every one of us has had a situation with left and right brain. Like, does anyone have like a pretty long commute to work? I do. I have 30 minutes, right? Do you ever go to work and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Right brain taking over. Left brain doesn't care what light you go to. You're just weaving through traffic. And I'm like, I'm already at work. Oh wow, sweet. Right brain. Okay, so I'm reading this book, and I feel like God's telling me, hey, you need to read this book. Plus, you had it for like 3 years, and it's been sitting on your desk. So you can just imagine there's no like virtue in being cool, just having a book there, right? So I'm reading this book, and there's a chapter on expression. And if you got a pen this morning, take it out. There's the program that you guys had, the one that nobody reads. Because it's dark in here. Who does the lighting, right? All right, so let's get your pen, and I want you to walk through this exercise. It's really simple. This exercise has you sign your name. And the reason why it has you sign your name is because in the end, like when you're signing your name, you're using the most fundamental way to draw, and that's the use of a line. Sketches, artwork, paintings, doodling, which is what I do, start out with line. So in a sense, you are drawing your name. You guys are all artists. I should give you a hand. Okay, no. All right, so go ahead and sign your name. Draw your name like you would if you were signing a document. And then we're going to meet 3 people, and based on how they sign, pull off expression about them. Let's meet this first person. This is John A. Looks like Kazaklis. I think that's my brother who lives in Florida. All right, so we're going to meet John. John, we're just going to pull basically how he signed his name and just tell about him. So the way he underlined his name tells me that he's probably fun, not funny, fun, right? See the 2 lines there in the middle? Uh-oh, he wants to be noticed, right? He probably wears bright colors. One day, there's a little sense of adventure probably just in the shapes, but one day he may own a sports car, and it probably is going to be a bright color. He'd be that person driving down the road. All right, let's meet another person. This person is J.A. Okay, same person. Okay, different signature. You get the idea. Okay. This person, Mr. Kazaklis, is not going to waste your time. We don't even know his first name or middle name. He just wants to leave a lasting impression. I would say this person is probably punctual. In fact, 6 o'clock, show up for dinner. He shows up at 5:45, and you're like, you going to help clean? You going to help vacuum? Because we're almost, we're not ready yet. This person is solid. Okay, let's meet another person, last person. Okay, what do you guys see here? Straight lines, yes. Okay, a lot of lines. What comes to my head is like either guitars maybe, or like music, an artist maybe. There is like maybe a sense of maybe fearlessness, not like adventure, but like just we'll go to the edge to like do whatever, just from the line. I even sense grunge, and I know grunge is coming back, and I don't know whether to apologize or to be thankful. A lot of flannel and Doc Martens and ripped jeans, but hey, enough about that. Okay, now everyone, look at your signature that you signed. Do you see any expression that you may have just based on the way you sign? So I'm doing this exercise at home, and God is like, ooh, I'm going to just tell you about me. I know you, George, and he knows everyone here. Psalm 139 drops in my head, and it is, oh Lord, you search me, you know me in all of my ways. Before I say a word, Lord, you know it completely. In verse 14, I praise you, Lord, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Wow. Okay, I'm like signing my name, and I'm thinking this. And then in Genesis 1, how God created man and woman in his image. Another like orchestra hit in my brain is like, okay, I'm receiving this, Lord. This is basically your identity. You're telling me that you know me, that you made me, and I'm made in your image. So whether I question, am I a runner, or what am I doing, or if I'm not a finisher, which has been like my identity for the longest time, this great idea person, but never following through, God has his way of speaking to us, and it's through his word. I thought I was learning to draw, and that's totally cool because God uses things to teach you. I learned that drawing isn't about how you hold a pencil, pen, paper, or even if you're using canvas, lighting, angle. It's about can you see, and what do you see? And then can you draw it? And I remember driving home on my long commutes to work. Yes, I talked to God in the car. God, when you made me, what did you see? And then I was like, in fact, what do you see now? And it was like as plain as Genesis 1:26, George, I see my image. Right? So this summer has been a summer of God teaching me to be a finisher. I'm still running. I'm actually pretty active now. It's really funny because that wasn't happening 3 months ago. I have finished books, which I wasn't a reader at first or ever. I read manuals. My wife thinks I'm a nerd, but that's okay. I finished a music project, and I had an idea for like pianos, all just stacked pianos, and I did it in like 6 hours, and I was like, I need to finish this. Done. God is teaching me to be a finisher. So what about you? What is it that God wants you to see? What part of his identity has he placed in you, or will he place in you? I want you to be encouraged to be curious with the Lord. It started with me asking questions, and it was like, am I a runner? And then it turned into, let me teach you to be like me, because God starts things, and he finishes things. Be encouraged today. His word has every answer to every question you have. Thank you.